What's up, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Reptile News. Now today we're going to start off in Louisiana with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife announcing that they've started releasing snapping turtles into the wild in another Head Start program. We talked about one of these programs the other day and kind of how they work. If you missed that, go back to the Monday show, check it out. They're real interesting programs that I really think are great, and they're saying from here on out, right now, the snapping turtle is a species of concern, and it's slated to see whether the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will add it to the endangered species list in 2017, and we're going to get to that problem in just a second. But they're saying that starting probably next year, and they're going to release some more in fall, they're looking at least 100 babies head started into the wild each year from here on out. And apparently what they do is they're raising them up to 3 years of age before they release them to give them a better chance of survival. And now we get to the endangered species thing. It boggles my mind why it would take so long, and I've talked about this in a recent video before. If an organization that's supposed to know what they're doing says we have a problem, a species should get immediate protection right now. The burden of proof should be on the people that says it doesn't have a problem. And I guess being a species of concern does give it a little bit of protection, but I believe that if a group of people who's educated and knows about the species they're dealing with says we have a problem, it should receive the full attention of the Endangered Species Act and full protection from the law until proven that it doesn't need it anymore. And now we're going to move on to Brooklyn, New York, because amazing things happen in Brooklyn, New York. Apparently police serving a search warrant, acting on a tip of somebody keeping illegal animals, found exactly what they're looking for. They found an alligator in an apartment as well as several snakes. Now police said they don't know what type of alligator it is, and of course everything was turned over to the Bronx Zoo for rehabilitation, and they don't really hit on that, so I'm not quite sure. I mean, the alligator in the news story in the pictures doesn't look terrible. So the Bronx Zoo, however, basically kind of replied with no comment. And the main reason I really wanted to talk about this story is just to kind of point out, and I'm sure everybody knows there's still people out there doing dumb stuff. These things are not legal. Alligators are not legal to keep in Brooklyn, and chances are this person, I'm just guessing here, this is pretty far-fetched, but I'm just guessing this person doesn't watch this show, probably doesn't take part in the greater reptile community, probably some sort of nomad that thinks they're above the law and doesn't really care about ruining it for everybody else. Now we're going to move on to the entire East Coast, 15 states back east to be exact, and the snake fungus. It is really hot in here.
The lights probably don't help that.
Now I seem to remember talking about this a couple of years ago, but new concerns are coming up with this snake fungus, and I'm not even going to try to get into the science about it. I'm not even going to try getting into the numbers about it, other than saying that the survival rate of snakes that come down with this fungus is 0, big fat goose egg so far, and it appears to affect venomous and non-venomous snakes a different way. And there's so much information about this floating out there. A lot of the science I really don't understand, to be 100% honest with you, other than to know that this is a major problem. Probably not as big as the fungus that's affecting the amphibians everywhere, but bad enough that it really needs to be known. And I really urge everybody to read this story, and some of you can probably even understand the science behind it a lot more than me. And lastly, today I want to talk about Florida and our invasive species problem in Florida. I saw a news article pop up that was simply something to the effect of, could the next Burmese python be a black and white lizard? And I just had to click on that link. And what I found was a McClatchy, DC article that I don't know how much of it was sensationalized, but knowing what I know about the Burmese python problem and the invasive species problem in general and what we've been through so far, I'd be willing to say a lot of it was. And apparently they're saying the black and white tegu is a big problem in Florida and could be the next Burmese python problem in Florida. Apparently they didn't go to school very long and didn't understand that snakes are not lizards, but I digress. One thing that really caught me about this story is apparently they captured and installed GPS tracking devices and pretty beads on some of these lizards and released them, and they're tracking them. And I never understood how this kind of works. And maybe it's because I don't come from a science background. I mean, I kind of get they want to track where they go and everything, but I don't understand the logic behind capturing an invasive species something that has the potential of a tegu or Burmese python, rock python, or virtually any of the large constrictor or large lizard species, and the damage they can cause down in Florida, just to tag and release them. The way I see, once you got that sumbitch, keep it. Don't let it go. I just cringe every time I think about them letting them go. So apparently the moral of this story is now the black and white tegu is being rated right up there with the Burmese python, and it wouldn't surprise me the least bit. I'm not 100% sure what kind of federal legislation we have on black and white tegus in the United States right now. I don't keep them, so I don't really follow what the rules are about them, but I can pretty much guarantee you any rules we have for them right now are about to get a heck of a lot more stricter. And that, my friends, has been all your news for this Wednesday. If you'd like to read any more of these stories, that link's right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Friday.